So if I'm wrong, we have already broken and this is the peak. We look for our entry levels. It might come down lower anyhow it wants to do, enter downwards. But if it's the 20th, we'll still have to wait and see. So either way, whether wrong or right, it's still a wait and see approach. Welcome back to the Financial Alchemist channel, and this is an update video on my BTC short. I entered about here. This is actually my second entry. The first one I was closed out at break even. So to explain my first trade, you can go to the log charts. You can start from the weekly. As said in my previous video, once we have a clear break of this, aside the other confluences, I'm going to enter my shorts. So as we cleared this on the log chart, I didn't wait for a break on the linear chart. So you can now scale down to our 4-hour. So our first entry was about here. First entry was 105,500, 106,500. Yes. So 106, about 106,500. This green line on this candle, this is when I entered first. Entered about 106,500. Stops were above here. And this is risky on the linear chart, but on the log chart, we had already broken on the log chart 106,500. So on the log, we had tested this trend line and broken. So that's why I was confident enough to enter at 106,500. That was right about here. This line. So this was my first entry, which was quite risky because it hadn't broken on the linear chart. So my first entry was here, was in profit. Once I entered and we're in profit, I bought my stops to break even because this was quite risky, and I got stopped out at break even. Then this, my second entry, which I'm still in, gave me more confirmation than the first one. So this is all assuming this is our peak, $126,230. So this gave me extra confirmation because using the 4-year cycle, we know our peak is going to be in October. That was confirmation, and we are in November. We are below a highest point, so this is likely our peak. That was 1. 2, daily, we had broken and retested the trend line. So this first touch, second touch, this should have been a third touch upwards, but we have broken it. Not only have we broken it, we've come to retest and we're looking down. That also gave me extra confirmation aside the USDT confluence as well. So let's go to the USDT. USDT we had broken to the upside, but I'll get back to this later. So that was the reason why I was able to enter. That I got to the 4-hour. So we broke out, retest. Then I entered the 1 hour, got my counter trend line from here to here. This was how I was able to enter. And I was also watching this zone as well. I was watching here because this support line was what that made it move up. So it's also significant. So as we had the first touch, second touch, this third touch didn't hold. We broke on the 1 hour. This was where I entered my trade for the short. Then the rest is history. We are here now. So this is my BTC trade. Entry is just the beginning. How it will play out depends on the market. We can still head higher, come and store around here and drop, and I'll be right. But this trade will be taking off. So the thing about this is that you can have a direction right. Direction is the easy part, but the entry and managing a trade is the other complex thing to do. So as at now, I'm still in this trade. From here, hopefully I'll be able to write this down till 26 October, just as I did here from the bottom here to around here. So right now we just wait and see, as it has always been. We're just looking for pullbacks, and hopefully our pullbacks do not go above our entry. So once we get, so this trade is about 50% of my account. So this is a long-term trade, which is like the broad long-term trade. Then in between, as we get our pullbacks, then we can now do intraday trading. And it was also a third touch of this trend line, also making it a confluence zone. So the confluences were a lot for the reason why I was able to enter this trade. So as this drops further, and we know it doesn't drop in a straight line, we'll definitely get our pullbacks. So as this drops and we get our pullbacks, we'll be able to get nice entries however it plays out. So there will be smaller trades within this broad trade. That is if our pullbacks are not going to break my entry. So as at now, stops are at break even, and this is a risk-free trade as at now. So for the direction, I'm still confident we are heading lower, but now my issue now is the pullbacks. How are the pullbacks going to be? Because here, this was our peak. We could drop all the way here, see this huge pullback, drop all the way here, massive pullback, drop massive. So the pullbacks, we can't anticipate the pullbacks. That's even if I'm right on the peak happening. From here, see this high pullback, from the low to the high, we went about 60% higher. So let's see here, from this low to this high, we went about 92%. Obviously now the market cap is bigger, so we won't be having those 90% move ups as pullbacks, but we can still come around here, pull back 20%, 29%, 30%, and I'll be taking out and eventually drop, making my direction right. So with the direction, I'm kind of 95% sure on the direction from now to October 2026. The issue here is managing these trades regarding the pullbacks. So we wait and see. Maybe this might just be a breakout and a retest lower. So there are multiple scenarios. We just wait and see, manage the trade as it's going, and see what all that is about. Concerning the direction, if you go to the log chart, let's go to the monthly, you can tell, you can compare this, you can use the dollar index, that's the DXY, can also give you more confluence on the direction. It's also inversely related. This blue line, this is the bottom on the DXY moving higher, marks a peak in BTC USD. This forming the bottom, marking a peak. This is the bottom, marking a peak. Very simple. We don't need to complicate this. This peak over here, marking them. Even though this is not exactly, we can't time it perfectly, but we have a general idea. So this peak, you can see the bottom was forming, sending DXY higher. Similar thing is happening here. if this is the peak, we also see here the bottom is forming, making DXY higher. So with just this, you can tell DXY, so the US dollar is going to strengthen. This can also help those who in the forex market. Once the US dollar is going to strengthen, we know what is going to happen to the other cross pairs. So if this is going higher, the AUD USDs and the Euro USDs, NZD USD, you know what's going to happen to those pairs, and it can also help you in the forex market. So once we see a bottoming on the DXY, it's kind of a danger for BTC. We can see this danger. It's a bottoming happening on the DXY here too, bottoming happening on the DXY. If you don't see that from here, we can go to it. So this is our DXY monthly chart. So way back till 1967, thereabout. So our first peak about 2013 was forming a bottom. Even though as at here you might think double top, we're coming lower, but once you know that this is a bottom zone, however it looks looking, so here it became support. This line, this zone became some support zone to the upside, making a crash in BTC. The next peak was about 2017 December. So we dropped into the peak of BTC. This correlates to the bottom of DXY. This up move corresponded with the fall in BTC USD 2017 till 2019. Similarly, 2021 peak, first peak happened about here, second one here. We actually peaked in November of 2021. So this was our peak, November 2021. This was our actual peak in 2021. So if you know this, you see the bottom forming on the DXY, we heading higher, then the peak happened in 2021. Then we go higher for the DXY, making us go lower for BTC USD. Similarly, we are here now. This is also looking like a bottom formation. However you want to see it, you can even see this as an inner trend line showing here as well. Mind you, we might be wrong and break this, but as of now we haven't broken it. So unless it breaks, that's a different story. So as of now, forming a bottom here, this is also looking kind of bearish for the DXY if you don't know. But if you know, similarly, what happened here, as at here, it looks bearish for the DXY. But knowing the correlation with the DXY and BTC USD, you will not fall for this kind of bearish temporary move. Rather, this bullish move in the long term. So this also can help those in the forex market that in the long term, 2026 to about 2027, we are kind of bullish for DXY. Another correlation to the direction is the gold to BTC. So let's go to gold BTC ratio. That's our XAU BTC. So this is it, gold to BTC ratio. This is also inversely related to Bitcoin USD. Our peak 2013 was a bottom over here. So let's mark this. Then 2017 December was our peak in BTC USD. Also mark the bottom, gold BTC. Next one, November 2021, which is about here, this is our peak. So looking at this is our peak. That's the next cycle. This was our peak. Next cycle, this was our peak. So looking at this, the bottom gold BTC corresponds to the peak in BTC. So this is a bottom. As at here, you wouldn't know because there's no prior price here. Here as well, you wouldn't know. Here we wouldn't know. Fortunately for us, this is where we are now, and this is a strong support zone which we have already moved higher. So this was a peak in BTC price, bottom, peak, bottom. So the whole 2021 cycle, the peak, let's do compare so that some people will not be confused. So let's compare to the BTC price. So as you can see, this peak in BTC USD, this yellow line corresponds to this bottom. Same thing, this peak corresponds to this bottom, this peak, and this is because of the close. I've explained this in the previous video. This line corresponds to the closest, so the close is not here, but the actual peak happened in November. So this peak also corresponds to this. In hindsight, you might not, as I said, you might not know this might be a bottom. This is a random price. This is also a random price. This is also a random price. But fortunately for us, this is not a random price because we have candlesticks that have corresponded to this previously. This has acted as a support, 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 and also a support now. So this gives extra confirmation on the direction in Bitcoin USD. So as we are here, we have already bottomed. So this is likely to move to this. If this is confusing, you can also invert the chart as well. So this is an inverted chart of gold BTC. These are the peaks in BTC price. We are here. I can take the BTC USD now. We are here now. Looking at this, you can see this is likely to drop here. Once we drop here very quickly, we can also head here, but we don't want to predict the candles, we just trade what it's about. The previous cycle, we dropped from here to here, so it's likely we might also drop from here to here as well and have some pullbacks and end over here. But that's a video for another day. Right now we are talking about the direction. So you can see everything has been broken. Counter trend line has been broken. So sending it back, this has been broken. You can tell this was a double bottom over here. This is even looking like a head and shoulder, and we are still at the neckline, inverse head and shoulder. So looking at everything, gold BTC is looking like we are going higher, which means Bitcoin USD is likely to go lower. So as for direction wise, I'm kind of, as I said, 95% sure we're heading lower, but when it comes to trading, the pullbacks and the candle formations are what cause problems. So we have to now check the dailies, look for support, minor resistance levels for this kind of trades. So it's still a wait and see approach, but as of now, I entered this trade about 105,000 thereabouts, and we're now at $94,900. So wait and see, as I always say. And concerning USDT dominance, similar thing. These red lines are peaks in Bitcoin prices, and I also said we don't necessarily have to come to this line in my USDT dominance video. Just like what happened in 2021, we had a bottom and form a bottom. Then we picked on Bitcoin USD. That's what is happening here. We don't need to get it exactly just like these months. Here we got it exactly, we got this exactly. We don't need to get that. We can get this, and that is what we have now. So we had our bottom formation on our USDT dominance into our peak, and once we break this, next level target is 6.4% in the USDT dominance. If we clear that, we are going to 8.5%, and if we clear that, we go to here. But not to get ahead of ourselves. Right now, our next level target is 6.4%. This as well, if you get the inverse, you can see where this is likely going to head to. So previously, if you watch my video, we were about here. I was explaining why I'm not favoring this to go higher, which means Bitcoin USD to 200,000. I wasn't favoring that. I was favoring a peak in October, which that has happened. So today as well, I'm also favoring 6.4% on the USDT dominance. Once we reach here, this is a huge resistance zone. This is inverted, so let's go back. This is a support, 10 resistance. So this is a strong zone. This is also a strong resistance zone. So once we are here on the USDT dominance, I'll be watching where that corresponds to on BTC USD. It might likely be here, so we might get some pullbacks here. So once we reach here, we can start taking little profits and wait for some pullbacks. Hopefully our pullbacks are not drastic to head over here. Just some nice pullbacks which we can enter minor trades downwards. So this is the BTC USD trade. Everything is looking nice as at now. Once I've entered the trade, this is just about 30%. It's now left with trade management and looking for minor opportunities to enter. So this is my BTC trade as at 14th November 2025.